Thank you for being here tonight. It's great to have everybody here in person. Clap, clap, clap. I want to say I'm not Stephanie, and you guys already figured that out. There's Stephanie, and she is our founder of the organization, and she's decided that she needs to step back, and we've all agreed, and so it's taken 5 people to try to do what Stephanie was doing. And let me just say, we're not always doing it well, and Stephanie's there to kind of keep us on the rails and, back in. But she's never far from any decision we make. And we really want to honor her idea, her concept, and her passion for Three Corners Women's Giving Circle. And so I just want to just all say thank you to Stephanie again. And it's not goodbye. We're just trying to make her life a little less difficult. If somebody else has to pick up the mail, we're hoping that helps. There's several other women that are helping. Tony Johnson is sort of over our communications. So blame her if you think you're getting too much MailChimp, or if you're not getting MailChimp, check your spam, please, and add it to your inbox. Dana Naylor isn't here tonight. She's in Denver. She's with us in thought, and she is over social media, and she's really trying to figure out ways to help us increase our visibility and gain new members and new interests. So if you're following us, if you do social media at all, either Instagram or Facebook or both, please watch for the posts, read them, like them, share them, all of those things. And we're hoping that we've had a few new members. Actually, I'm going to introduce one tonight that kind of came to us through social media, maybe another. So, and the other members that aren't, the other executive committees that aren't here are Joan, and I'm going to not say her name right, but she's not here, Doust. And Joan's our chairman, and these people are all like hiding out for the heat. So one's in Denver, Joan's in Montana, and then Martha Hoyer. And Martha is in town, but she's actually not here tonight. But Martha is taking over the grants committee. She is doing an awesome job, and it's a really busy time for the grants committee. As you know, we have a deadline next week, the 24th. So if you know anybody that wants to apply, any nonprofit organizations that would qualify, they can go to our website and get the information, or just email us at Three Corners Women's Giving Circle, and we'll help them. We don't want to make an extension because we've already publicized the deadline, but we do, if somebody's interested and they need some assistance, please reach out. Martha would be happy to help, and her team. I wanted to report a couple of things, and then I'll introduce our speaker. And so, first of all, I want to report that we are at, I had it on my phone. We just got another gift today, and I can't add. We're just shy of 40,000 in gifts, total giving, which is great, but we still have quite a few members that have not renewed yet. And we have this terrific opportunity right now that we have an anonymous donor that is willing to match up to $15,000 in gifts. And we're at right about 5,000 now. So we're going to do, she has graciously given us extension. We had until tonight, but I said, could we please have an extra week and a half so that we can try to get to the end of the month and tell people what we've done and encourage them to join in. So if you have extra discretionary dollars, you can commit now. That would be awesome, because even if you've already paid your commitment, it was an extra gift. You can make it in honor of somebody. I'll write them a note and tell them how wonderful you are if you want to do that. You can invite a new member, and either he or she could have their membership doubled if they join now. So that's also a compelling reason. So those are things that we are trying to encourage at this point so we can maximize this awesome opportunity. We'd hope to get to 40,000 this year, but with the match right now, we would be really close to 45. So I think 50,000 is really doable. And that would be a stretch gift for us, and something really great to honor Stephanie with. I don't know where she went. She left us. Oh, she's the lights lady. Okay, so I just want to. We did have some new members. We have a little attrition every year, so we're at 119 members. We were kind of at 117, and we did gain some members, but we're always losing a couple because people tend to not support us when they move, which I don't understand because there's so many of us that are snowbirds. But that's their choice. But we are going to reach out to some of those people with this special incentive that we have and see if they would be willing to reconnect with us. So anyway, we have some new members, and two I know are for sure here tonight. Our newest member is Terry Kerber. Terry, raise your hand. So Terry actually found out about us via social media, post that I think happened early in, it had to do with the market, I think. The St. George Market, maybe?
St. George News.
St. George News.
Yeah, newspaper article
Newspaper.
years ago, but we weren't living here yet.
Okay, and then you reached out to, or Crystal somehow knew that knew that organization, right? Okay, so my neighbor then said, hey, I think I've got a friend that's interested in what you guys are doing. Would you call her? So, of course, I called her. And then we went to a children's birthday party together because we share a lovely two little kids in common that we both love, that we claim as our grandkids. So that's how we got to know each other. And she joined this week. And then we also have Margaret Ambranshee, right? Ambranshee?
Abramshee.
Abramshee.
It's pretty phonetic, yes.
Abramshee. And Margaret is from Denver and moved here this year?
No, I moved in 2016.
Oh, she's been here for a while. And tell them what your tag is on your email.
Oh, I'm the metaphysical quilter.
The metaphysical quilter. Okay.
I love that.
So how did you hear about Three Corners?
Dana and I met at the Dixie Quilt Guild, and
okay.
Dana's, such an engaging person, and we had some common things, and we got together. We actually both were members of the same spiritual community in Colorado, Mile High Church, and anyway, we just got together, and she got me the AAW, and she said, you should just try this, and so I was like, okay.
Well, welcome. We're glad she did. So if you have, that's a great story. If you have someone that you think might be interested, this is the time to invite them because they can double their gift. And we know it's already going to be double their fun, so this is twice as fun, right? And then we also have a new member named Diane Baines, who is not here tonight, and we had a male join this year, Mike Naylor, Dana's husband, also became. So we have a couple of males. So anyway, that's where we are with that report, and we can as a group answer questions afterwards, but I want to introduce our speaker tonight, which is Linda Stay. And Linda's a development director at Switchpoint. Many of you know her. So Linda comes from an interesting background. She has a background in marketing and PR, and she worked for the infamous Squatty Potty until they had made a lot of money and sold the company or whatever. I don't know if they made money or not. I'm guessing they did.
They made a lot.
They made a lot. And then they said, sorry, we don't need you anymore. Not her old boss, but her new boss. So she was going to go into retirement. Her husband was like packing the bags for Mexico to move. And somebody reached out to her and said, wait a minute, Switchpoint needs you. And so she talked to Carol, and then the rest is history. So she's been there about 3 years. And she's a very cause-driven person, and I think, even if you're new to fundraising, if you're cause-driven, then that's half the battle because you understand the what needs to be done and the passion. You have the passion to do the work. So anyway, she's going to speak to us tonight about Switchpoint. So take it away.
Thank you. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much for having me. What an honor to get to be here. I feel like I'm in this room with incredibly powerful women, and it feels really good. I would invite those of you, like maybe move a little forward, and then I'll ask if we can cut the lights so that we can see well. Y'all can hear me fine, yes? Okay. So again, as Glenna said, I found SwitchPoint about 3 years ago, and man, it's been an incredible ride. I know that many of you are familiar with SwitchPoint in some ways, but I hope that tonight you're going to realize there's so much more that you didn't understand about who we are. So initially, SwitchPoint opened as a community resource center. I brought some flyers and a snapshot that you can kind of look at. This helps a little bit. Yeah, you can. But I'm gonna start with this, and we'll just go through, and then we'll answer questions at the end. So we'll. So pick up the mic. It's important, I think, for you to know how and why SwitchPoint came to be, why we started. It began with Carol Hollowell. She is our CEO and executive director, and Carol was a businesswoman. Like I said, I started 3 years ago, and it didn't take long to witness her commitment and passion for this work. And I said, what on earth obsessed you to do this? Because seriously, it's a 24/7 job. It truly is. And I thought I would get this really personal story that, her brother died on the streets of Seattle, froze, whatever. I really did, because when you see her commitment and her drive, I just thought certainly it had to be something that personal. And she doesn't have, like I said, there's no social work background. She was a very, very successful business person in Bend, Oregon, had 20 salons up and down the Pacific Northwest. And they had a lot of commercial properties, really building quite an empire. And when she decided, they decided to pull all their funds and go into the mortgage business. And the timing of that could not have been worse. It was 2008. And what happened was they lost everything, and it was a very devastating time, a very dark time. And they had some of their dear friends and partners that it was so dark that they took their own lives. And so Carol was just like, I have to get out of here, I can't breathe. So they kind of threw a dart at a map, and it hit St. George. No family connection, nothing. Just she wanted a place that wasn't cold. And so they came to St. George to start over. And she said, I had to find a reason, something purposeful, something much more than accumulating and building, right? There had to be something more. Well, she took a job at 5 County as their senior volunteer coordinator, and she was working with the seniors and, the smoozy volunteers for Tuacahn and the World Senior Games and the Ironman, right? And you always get court-ordered volunteers. And this started happening, and it was really troubling her. She said, what on earth? What are you doing back here? And it turned out that they had been arrested for crimes of homelessness. And this really started bothering her, and it was weighing heavy on her mind. And one morning, it was very, very early, and 5 o'clock in the morning, and it's pouring down rain, if you can believe it. And she passed Ray in his wheelchair, And just everything inside her said, pull over. So she pulled over, rolled down her window. She says, hey, buddy, where are you headed? He says, oh, I'm going to Smith's to get a cup of coffee and warm up. And she said, get in. She loaded him up in her truck. And as she told our staff today, and if you do that, I will fire you. Don't ever do that. But, you know, she said, I couldn't drive by. I couldn't turn around. I couldn't leave. So she took Ray down to Smith's, and she said, what happened to you, Ray? Why are you homeless? And he said, I lost my wallet 5 years ago, and you can't do anything without ID. And she was absolutely stunned. What? Ray had fallen from Dixie High School remodel. He was a construction worker, had fallen from the second floor, had a traumatic brain injury. That's what landed him in the wheelchair. And our DMV to restore ID is 20 miles away with no bus service. So Ray began to outline to her what was keeping him trapped in homelessness. And it seemed like, I can't believe what my ear, I can't believe that you have been living behind the library, you know, behind the bushes for 5 years. And she called her coworkers. She says, we have a project. We're going to get this taken care of today. I am not putting him back on the streets. And so she, you know, you need ID to get ID, right? So Ray had been arrested 63 times the previous year. So she's like, okay, let's go to the police station, see if we can get your mugshot. Just to let you know, you can't count on that because they won't release the mugshot to you. So what did you do? Well, they had gathered all his vital documents. And so she said, well, she drove him out to the DMV. She said, I started to cry. And she told the lady, and if you know Carol at all, she said, I need a temporary ID and I'm not leaving without it. I am not putting him back on the streets. All I need is take that picture and give me that ID. And the girl was like, you just don't say no to Carol. Anyway, she goes, don't tell anyone. And she got the temporary ID. She then took him over to Evans Beauty College. Am I standing in front? Am I blocking y'all's view? Okay, let me know if I am. And got him cleaned up. That was within hours of each other. Okay? And in 7.5 hours, they had rehoused in senior living.
Oh my God.
And that was in 2013. And so that's why Switchpoint exists. That's when she went to the city, Matt Liu at the time, and said, this is criminal. This is just not right, that Ray has been invisible to us. And I have a plan, and we can do better, and we must do better. And that's why Switchpoint was developed as a community resource center, as a 24/7 shelter. You can't help somebody if you're kicking them out at 6 o'clock in the morning and making them wonder if they're gonna have a bed that night. You can't help anybody. So I'm gonna show you this short, it's our brand new overview video, very few people have seen this, that will give you an inside look at who we are and what we do and what's coming. So enjoy. Come on, Internet. Hold on. Maybe my hotspot went out. Okay.
Oh man,
We're gonna
this
get
poor
connected.
woman, she had to go out and buy her own projector last night.
I did.
Mine broke.
because I had to show you this video.
Yeah, next time you send a message to the membership.
Oh, okay. Well, they've become very affordable now.
They have.
But still, she's. Do you need help?
No, I just had to reconnect to my
Okay,
hotspot.
all right. Thanks.
And we're on, so I'm gonna go back.
And she brought the mic too, so we should give her a round of applause.
Her own sound system.
That's a benefit of being married to a professional musician.
Oh, so next time.
That's really good.
Entertain her too.
Oh, seriously? Man, we could provide.
Okay.
Here it comes.
No matter where you come from, whether you come from intergenerational poverty or you come from wealth or you come from middle class, there's an energy at Switchpoint. And there's a culture where we are all treated equally and everybody is treated with dignity and respect.
No, there are many reasons that could lead someone to be homeless. And it's not our place to judge what those might be. It's our place to help.
If you don't understand the underlying trauma of why someone made a behavior choice, and you don't get to the real root of it, who are we to judge why they made that decision? And that's the biggest lesson I've learned in operating Switchpoint is, be kind, because we don't know the battle that someone is facing.
Well, we try to tell everybody if you need food, come. We help. We do not turn anybody away. We help everyone.
If you're constantly, every single day, having to think to yourself, how am I going to get dinner tonight? Or where am I going to shelter tonight? There is no chance at all that you're going to be able to fully invest yourself in the community to make the entire community better.
A switch point is the mechanism on a train track that with just a little bit of a movement sends you in a completely different direction. Our model at Switchpoint is to be that change where they become the switch point in their own lives. And we do that by providing education, advocacy, classes, resources that teach the client how to be empowered on their own, and we become their best cheerleader. That's how we are the Switchpoint.
Switchpoint Community Resource Center has focused on solving homelessness, and we did that by starting a homeless shelter. And then we knew that that was not going to solve homelessness, so we added on to our family of services lots of things. So we added on a food pantry and case management, and then we thought we need to put these people to work. So we thought, let's do micro enterprises, businesses. So we added on thrift stores, and we added on doggy daycare and a small engine repair. And then we thought, there's still a gap. Let's talk about recovery. So we opened in 2020 a drug treatment center for men up in Hilldale, Utah, and it has capacity for 42 men in that facility.
I see that the approach at Switchpoint works. The vision they have works, undoubtedly. And I know that the money that we donate will be used appropriately and properly in the best interests for the neediest people in our community.
You have an organization that not only welcomes but thrives on volunteerism from our community. That's the kind of synergy that I want in my partners when we're trying to help improve our community.
The energy of the staff and the entire organization, it's in constant motion, constant growth, constant thinking of what else can we do for clients and what else can we do to serve the community, to keep people safe.
And then we thought, well, we probably should work on housing. So we did an affordable housing project, and we just finished that in November of 2020. with 55 units of 1, 2, 3, and 4 bedrooms that provide affordable living, safe, great, beautiful space.
What are one of the huge obstacles that we face is having a place that people can afford. So accessible to them, accessible housing.
So our stepping stones, we break ground here in the next month or so on a 24/7 child care center that really focuses on the working family that works non-traditional hours because there's nothing available. So something that will allow them to work swing shifts, grave shifts, weekends, that kind of thing, and gives them somewhere safe and affordable for their children to be.
The first step is always the hardest, and a lot of people feel that if they take that step, they're going to fall. But they need to recognize that in the community there are safety nets for them, and SwitchPoint is one of them. We are here to help individuals get the courage, have the support, and really help put their life back together. But they have to take that first step.
It's not a scary call to make. It may seem scary, but the people that are welcoming you into our resource center are very loving and kind and compassionate, and will meet you where you are.
We will provide the link to the video after the meeting.
Okay, yeah, I'll send, I can send the YouTube, there's gonna be another one too that's gonna just knock your socks off. Anyway, so our mission is to empower those in need by addressing the underlying cause of poverty. Meeting that person where they're at. Ray, what happened to you? Why are you homeless? You've got to identify that before you, that's the first step. Talk to them, listen to them, and then lock arms with them. We create a comprehensive individual plan for each individual, and then support them on their journey to self-sufficiency. So we're there from start to finish. And it's not just as soon as we don't throw somebody into housing and just say, hey, good luck. You know, we stay with them. And we're doing house visits once a month, making sure, is everything okay? Are you staying on track? How's your budget? You know, they know that we are there for them as a resource and support system till they get back to their best life, right? And so that's an important piece. And it is what makes us different, I think. So there's many ways that you can help, and if you'll turn off the lights, you'll get to see real quick. Sorry. We're gonna go here. So ways to help. Of course, you can sponsor a family or a child in the shelter. Host a drive and join our Empowerment Society. That's a monthly giving. Become an ambassador, and I know that y'all have done this so much for us, and I'm grateful. I know that you have supported SwitchPoint numerous times.
And you can apply again.
And we can apply again. So, again, also, volunteer. We rely on 300 to 400 volunteers every month in all of our different programs to keep us going. As you can imagine, COVID was devastating for us. We lost 90% of our volunteer force. And thankfully, they're back. They're back. I shout out to St. George News. They did a story a year ago in August, and enlisted younger people came and showed up, college kids, and so we made it through. And now it's a little scary because we're losing volunteers again. And it's because we want them to stay safe. It's like, please don't come if number one, just if you're compromised at all. So if you have been, follow us on Facebook. We put out really good content. Go to our website and sign up for our newsletter. We don't send out a ton, but what you will get is inspiring, and it's impactful, and it'll make you feel good. So you can sign up for our newsletter on our website, which is switchpointcrc.org.
It's probably on the back of one of
It definitely is. Switchpoint CRC stands for Community Resource Center.org. Okay. I'm excited to introduce Catherine to you. Catherine, when there was a city council position open up, she went down and threw her name in the ring. And her little speech that she gave in front of the city council as to why she felt like she would be a good candidate is just beautiful. I need to upload that to our YouTube. It's on our Facebook. And then, I don't know if you know, Catherine Novick, you would have seen her name in the mayor run. And again, just, she's the epitome of what we do at Switchpoint, and so enjoy her story. Sorry.
Domestic violence is emotional, it's mental, it's all sorts of stuff, and it's just been years, and I had to put up with it, and I chose to put up with it. I thought I could change people because of it. I thought, I don't do these things to you, maybe I could change you with my own actions and my own love, and I believed that for too long. I didn't think I could ever take care of myself because everyone I trusted and loved told me that I couldn't, and told me that they were going to be there to help me, and they weren't, and so I didn't have a choice, and neither did my daughter, but that was her only hope, was me. Being at Switchpoint definitely was like, all right, you're on your own now, and these people can help you, give you the tools you need to get to where you need to go, but this is all on you. No more holding yourself back. And I wish my daughter wasn't with me because it felt like it was just that much harder, but she was the only reason why I was able to just stay focused, because for myself, I felt like just for me, I couldn't do it. And when I didn't have her around, when I had to leave her with other people for a minute so I could keep her away from the people that were abusing me, I was like, I could never do it for myself, but I could do it for other people. I could do it for her. I could do it for her future. And just so happens that it's beneficial for me as well. And I had to learn that after the fact. Everything started at Switchpoint. Everything that got me here started the day I went in there. I remember the first day I walked in here, I was asked if I had anything that I ever wanted to do in life. They asked you at intake, and I remember I want to be a singer. Switchpoint was able to give me just everything I personally needed. They were able to accommodate to what I was as a person, and not everybody is the same. So the fact that they were able to do that for someone like me, I was able to work with everything after the fact. But I think that they can do that with everybody here because they are some of the most understanding and most compassionate and patient people, and that's the kind of people we have at Switchpoint. my whole life changed. It really did. It felt like I went from being scared to live my life to these people believe in me and they've only known me for 3 months. I'm going to show them what chance they just gave me. People like me will go as far as we want, and I really am aiming for the stars, so that's why it's working. But
Yeah, so that's Catherine. Again, there's so many things that are happening. You may or may not know, and I'll fill you in. Last summer in July, a couple of years ago, Pastor Rick from Tooele came down to Switch Point and said, "We need help. Can you help us do this in Tooele?" And after a couple of years, we said absolutely. I mean, we couldn't turn them away. They had no homeless services, and when Road Home closed, they were inundated with people in their community with no services to offer. And so July 1st, we took over the domestic violence shelter in Tooele, the food pantry, and a thrift store. And what they have accomplished in the last year is nothing short of a miracle, the people that they're able to serve. We are in the process of hopefully creating it's going to be Harris Community Village, taking over an old elementary and converting it into a resource center that will have men, women, and family shelter, 24/7 shelter again, and 24/7 childcare. So I love that you clapped. Let's talk about 24/7 childcare. That's one of the huge gaps. So what SwitchPoint brilliantly does is what are the gaps? What resources do we not have that we can connect our people with? And many times we can help somebody get their CNA certificate, right? And the veterans home is like, yeah, we'll take them, but they got to work graves. Or the hospital, or many places. And they have to turn down that higher paying job because they have no childcare, right? Or working weekends. There are no places that are 24/7. And so we're very, very excited about that. I'm going to ask you all to just put your energy, your meditations, your prayers out to the universe to help get this thing home. COVID was honestly, same thing, devastating for that project. And we kept many times, it's like, we're just going to have to table it. We can't make it work. We can't make it pencil. And an angel would come in and give us more money, or just say, keep going. This is too important, and it is. And so, but we just found out that we can't get the trusses, and that's going to throw us back. Just come on. So pray for the 24/7 childcare. Yeah, they're delayed, and so it just keeps all of those just obstacles, right? But that's what SwitchPoint is masters at, is, okay, what are the obstacles? How are we going to get creative and overcome that? So the other thing that I need your prayers and meditations and any woo-woo you can throw at us is clearly we do not have enough places to move people through the shelter and get them stable into housing, right? And I'm sure it's worse, but it was when we first started doing the math for our Riverwalk project. It was determined that we were 1,800 units short of accessible housing. Now it's probably doubled that, in Washington County. And of course, the rents are sky high. And so we started to tackle that with our Riverwalk 55 units. It's such a beautiful facility, y'all. And now we're looking at purchasing an old studio hotel, right? That will give us 75 units that we can use for transitional housing. So we're trying desperately to raise the funds. We've got, again, some private investors that are willing to step up. And if you have any connections with your county commissioner, we're struggling with them. I'll be careful what I say, huh, man? The city, though, I will tell you that our city, the St. George City, we would not be who we are without St. George City. They have backed us 100%. They donated the land that Riverwalk was built on. And that's the only way we could make that pencil. It was a tax credit project. And so the city they're jumping in. We want to help. So I tell you that because I do believe in the power of intention, and I believe that as we as a community come together, we can solve tough problems. We can together we can make our community a kinder, safer, stable place for everyone to exist, right? And so those are some of the things. Also, last summer, a year ago, August, Salt Lake local homeless committee, I can't remember, anyways, a bunch of letters. They called and said, hey, will you run an overflow shelter for us? And I went, are you serious? Millions of people and they can't figure out how to run an overflow shelter? I guess nobody wanted to, so Carol's like, sure, I'll come up and do it. So we ran 2 overflow shelters, one in Mill Creek and one in Salt Lake City. And of course, Carol fell in love with those people. And she would go down to the camps, and that's where it's like, hey, we have a place, come to us. We'll take care of you and get you out of the snow. And at first they said, well, you're going to do it like this, and that. She says, oh, no, I'm not. I'm going to do it like the Switchpoint way. There's no way I'm going to kick somebody out in the morning. It is 17 degrees out there. Would you want to be hanging out all day, trying to find a place to stay warm? I certainly wouldn't. Then why would you think it's okay to send these people out into the cold every day? I'm not going to do it. And, they were like, oh, we don't have the money to pay, da-da-da. She goes, it's going to cost more money to kick them out and check them back in. She says, no, I won't do it. If you want me to do it, it's going to be done the Switchpoint way. So, again, she fell in love with these people. Came time to close the overflow, kick them all out, and she's like, no, we got to buy this hotel so that we can bring them back in. We'll buy the hotel, and it will be for the most vulnerable population, 55 and older, and those with disabilities. And again, she kind of ran into some pushback, but she said, I know these people, and they're counting on me. They should never have been homeless in the first place. These are people that can pay rent. They have some income. They can afford $450 a month rent. Here's how we can solve this. So anyway, so much going on and so much good. So much good. Do you have questions?